Hi everyone, this is another astrology video, and I want to describe some of the signs on the zodiac and how we can explain them, especially if you're a beginner. So let's look at the chart now. Now, if we look at the chart here, the chart should always start with a sign of Aries. You can see that there, okay? And Aries around the 21st, which is the equinox here, of March, okay, of any year, and this never changes, and Aries is opposite Libra, okay. So this is the general 12 signs which make up the zodiac, because the zodiac just means the wheel, okay, in the sky, from the Greek word, okay. So if we go like spring starts here if you're in the northern hemisphere, and Aries the first sign. So Aries the first sign is it's a fire sign, and it's the ram. It's a cardinal sign, and it's to do with, just like it's the beginning of the wheel, it's how can we say, the pioneer, the adventurer, okay. Aries are brilliant at starting things, and that's where you see them shine. In fact, a lot of CEOs of major corporations are in fact Aries. Taurus, the next sign, is Taurus is the builder. That's the archetype. They're very artistic. They're ruled by Venus. Actually, I should have said Aries are ruled by Mars too, okay. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, artistic, and they're very connected with the neck, the throat, and because of that, many of them are great singers. The next, what would we say? So the earth sign as well, and the opposite sign over here is Scorpio. You see that there? Taurus and Scorpio. So Taurus, being an earth sign, is very connected with their material life, and they're known to manifest things. If you know a Taurus, very practical, being an earth sign. Okay, let's see, the next sign is Gemini. So Geminis, how can you spot a Gemini? They're talking, communicating. They're the sign, they're ruled by Mercury, communication, and they're an air sign. The air signs are more intellectual, they're known for, and so that's generally the sign of Gemini. They're typically, you know, students, teachers in that kind of domain, but the student constantly learning. The next one is Cancer. Cancer. They are a water sign. They're ruled by the moon. Very emotional, shy. These are classic traits. They don't always exhibit those traits, but we're just painting a picture with a broad brush here, okay. So Cancer are water sign, ruled by the moon, which you can see there, and water sign, and you can see they come just after Gemini, before Leo. So Cancer, they can be born sometimes in the northern hemisphere, let's say around 21st of June till around 21st of the day changes slightly. The reason I say the 21st of June is because that's when the solstice happens, and what happens is, like the crab moves sideways, also the sun also drops off, and it's almost like the season changes then in like the northern hemisphere, and we see it. That's the period, you know, that we reach in the summer with the watermelons, just like the crab, right? So they're emotional, imaginative, sensitive, and incredibly kind. They're noted for. So connected with home and family, generally, you could say that. Next one, Leos. Leos are a fire sign, normally very healthy sign. This is Leo, and Leo is ruled by the sun, and Leos are very much in medical astrology connected to the heart. So we can say that they have a big heart, and they normally do. They're normally very generous. You can say their personality is. And Leos are connected with entertainment, performing, and generally, you know, I personally think of different things when I think of Leo, like Las Vegas is connected with Leo as well. And yeah, so they're very energetic and often leaders, you know. Leo's famous presidents and people, you know, Barack Obama was a Leo, and many people leading as a natural domain for them, you know. Or like, you know, they could be in filmmaking because it's connected with drama and creativity. That's the main thing you'll find about Leos. The next sign is Virgo. Virgo are, how can we say, they're an earth sign, and Virgos are connected with the idea of, you know, the way that if you analyze the word virgin, a lot of these words came from Greek names, but the virgin actually, before they were married, these women, it was often misinterpreted. And so you'd expect that sign to be pure. Now virgin is, Virgo is a discriminatory sign. So they are, you know, in medical astrology, they're connected with the stomach, so they're selecting things. And what does the stomach do? It's selecting. So we need this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad in the stomach for your digestive system. And the Virgos can be very much like that. So they can be very good in quality control and saying like, I need this, but I don't need that. So Virgos are, you know, the classic. When we think of a woman, we think of like, how you say, the classic traits of a female, that they're very good with details. They might be good at cleaning because they're very good at these details, and Virgos, you'll find, often, not always, are good with these things, you know, cleaning, details, and organizing, very feminine traits like that. And you know, that's the archetype anyway. Not all of them are like that, like I said, but you'll see, and most importantly, connected with health as well, which is also considered in very female, feminine domain. The next sign is Libra, which you can see Libra is opposite Aries, which I talked about earlier, 21st of March. So let's take it over the other side, okay? 6 months later. So if you're a Libra, it's the scales. In French, the word is balance, so it's like balancing, okay? Libra in medical astrology is connected with the kidneys. And like the kidneys, you have two of them balancing, and they say Libras will never have energy unless they are balancing things. In reality, a lot of them are unbalanced in their lives, and they're striving to balance them. So like you say, two things again, they're concerned with relationships, and a lot of Libras do need to be in relationships. They're great diplomats because you're weighing two sides. Connected with law, again, you're the court house, relating two sides. But they're ruled by Venus like Taurus, and which is making them artistic, okay? So very much connected with the arts. And coming back to Taurus a little bit, they're very much connected with Venus, like I said, but they're to do with value, self-worth. That's why they're connected with material things. Some of them work in banking, some of them are great singers, you know, which I talked about earlier. Okay, let's move on to the side of Scorpio. Scorpio comes after Libra. There it is. And so Scorpio, you're born around November typically, and what do we see in the northern hemisphere? We see death. So Scorpio is concerned with, it's very misunderstood in the West when we think of death. So it's Taurus, the opposite sign, life. Scorpio, death, right? So they're a fixed sign, And Scorpio is transformation. That's what we mean, okay? Change. And many Scorpios will reinvent themselves in their lives many times. And they're a water sign. I forgot to say Libra was an earth sign. So water sign make them sensitive, kind, and compassionate in general. That's what you'll see from the water signs. Air signs are intellectual, fire signs are about action. And yeah, so that's the general. So Scorpios, they're healers, because water signs in general are healers, which are and research. They're good at going deep. Actually, James Bond, the character, even though it's fictional, was based on the character of Scorpio. Because, and if you think of the title of the movie, you never say die, you only live twice. It's to do with death. So these are transformative transformation. This is how we transform in death, basically. And so they're very intimate sign. So it's a sign of intimacy, and also money, like the opposite sign in Taurus, but it's more to do with other people's money. So it could be insurance, you know, other people's money, taxes, and God knows what else. Yeah. Again, you can go on forever about these signs and go into them in depth. So just dealing with the archetypes. Sagittarius. There we go. So Sagittarius are a fire sign, and they've got the arrow on their sign when they're firing. So they're very direct. Bang. They'll tell you like it is. A famous Sagittarius was Walt Disney. So he wanted to make people happy. They're a fire sign ruled by Jupiter. Sorry, some of these I've missed out. So, like for example, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. I missed some of the ruling planets here. Okay, so Sagittarius is a mutable sign. Mutable sign, like it's opposite Gemini, or like Pisces, or like Virgo. So Sagittarius is the philosopher. It's the traveler, the teacher. And all of them have this ability, whether they know it or not, is to teach. It just comes naturally to them. But they're constantly expanding, you know, their minds and whatnot. That's a classic Sagittarius. So yeah, I mean, they're great friends to have if you have a Sagittarius. I find them more, they kind of be more extrovert. They're never really boring to be around. You know, they're always like learning, and you might catch them late at night listening to, like, you know, podcasts or something from around the world or something. That they very much want to know what's going on in the world. And yeah, it's quite an intellectual sign. So very sporty, very athletic, yeah, that's about it for now. So let's move on to the next one. Capricorn, as you can see by the color there, it's an earth sign. And so Capricorn is, they're normally around the time of, you know, time of about Christmas. You know, these people are born, right? So Capricorn, the archetype of that is the father. So, you know, Capricorns are the goat, and they're climbing the mountain to the top. They want to get to the top of the mountain. So you'll see Capricorn in their life concerned with their career, and want to, in medical astrology, is connected with the knees, so they have to be careful. And I know Capricorns, they have trouble with their knees sometimes, and just like the goat which climbs the mountain, it's the knees that get affected, you see. But you'll see the goat, they're very dynamic, jumping up the mountain, right? So Capricorns are very much like that in their career. They want to go to the top, and so they have a reputation for being good with money, you know, because they're practical, like the earth signs. And this one is ruled by Saturn, Capricorns. So it's pretty practical and no nonsense, you know. Capricorns, like, you know, you might find them wearing a watch, for example, and I know other people wear watches, all the others, but we're just talking about general points here, because they're very aware of, you know, time, which is ruled by Saturn as well, and normally they are very honorable. That's what they really want. That's what they say in astrology. What they're looking for is that honor, which you get from climbing the career ladder and going to the top, or being a father, a parent, even if it's a female, very connected with the family. But, you know, like the opposite sign is Cancer, which is the mother, and Capricorn, the father, which is opposite. Okay, let's move to the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius are, well, you could talk forever about Aquarius, because we're actually moving into an age of Aquarius now, which is, you see the zigzag sign here, like electricity. This is the sign of Aquarius. And very much, if you meet an Aquarius, it is like electric shock. You meet them, boom, you've met an Aquarius. Right, so my own sign is Pisces, and they often say that Pisces and Aquarius meet each other in unusual places, and I found that to be true in my case. So they got a reputation for being the exception, eccentric. Aquarius, it's an air sign. It's an air sign, like you can see by the colors here, which is indicated. So Aquarius will be with Gemini and Libra, the air signs, and again they're very mental signs, using their mind. And the air signs like to be challenged, basically. Some of them, like, you can see lawyers and whatnot. I mean, Oprah Winfrey, I think, is an Aquarius. And so Aquarius are connected with groups of people, very sociable, and you can see, like Oprah Winfrey, she was a chat show host with all these groups of people around her. But they're the exception. So some of them, they're said to have the highest IQ of the Zodiac, and highly intelligent and ahead of their time. And you can see Aquarius, you know, it's the scientist, it's the rebel. There's so many different archetypes of the Aquarian, but generally Aquarius, they're pretty sociable and talkative in general, you could say, right? But there's so many things you can say about them. Okay, Pisces, the last sign, the 12th sign of the zodiac here, the sign of a fish, right before we come back to Aries. Okay, so Pisces is a water sign again, as my own sign too, so I can speak about them even more. The opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo over here, an earth sign, so it's a water sign. So what is Pisces? Pisces are symbolized here by the two fish up here, tied together, and they're swimming in opposite directions. And the experience of a Pisces, they often feel like they're swimming in two different directions simultaneously. This pull, tug of war, they'll feel throughout their lives, which is very common. And so you'll be amazed how similar they really are to the actual fish themselves, you know, because when we talk about them being in the water, water represents emotions, so they're very emotional, and so they're very much the spiritual sign. I suppose if you consider this as a wheel of life, and you see the 12 signs, Aries the baby, which is born, and Pisces, the last sign, is before we die. Pisces, so they say they're a very wise sign before we die, and very spiritual, very, you know, connected with the unseen world as opposed to the seen world, because they've lived through every other sign. And so that's basically what the soul of each sign is, and they're very much connected to that. So Pisces, because they live through other signs, people try to define the other signs like Aries, the pioneer, or Taurus, the banker or the builder. Pisces, you could categorize them because they've lived through other signs. They have pretty much all the other signs in them, so they kind of can morph into different roles. But they do tend to be naturally good at healing, you know, as water signs do in general. Or some people say because they're the 12th sign, they also want to understand God, and you know, it's connected with spirituality and whatnot. And so they can make good doctors maybe, and you know, healers. And although traditional health is normally the opposite sign, Virgo, Pisces tend to be more into the alternative health, you know, holistic, I should say. So you can go on about each sign. So they're ruled by Neptune, and the co-ruler as well as Jupiter, which is the ancient ruler. And so Neptune is very dreamy, so there's a sign of the dreamer, which is so they're naturally good with film, because it's very dreamy, and music, like the water signs in general. And yeah, that's about it. So you could say, you know, some of them are great, known to be good filmmakers as well. But it depends on your whole chart, you know. When you consider your ascendant sign and your moon sign and your sun sign, you put it all together and you can see where your talents are. But that's just an introduction to the zodiac here, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thanks.